Hey Beck, I'm your Luna, Lish, and I'm here to help you navigate out of your trials and tribulations and move into your purpose. So, if your soul is ready to adhere to its mission, then raise your glass, fix your crown, and settle in. This is Ready to Reign. Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Ready to Reign. If this has found you, trust that there is no mistake. I'm here, this content is here, and my whole purpose in life is here because you manifested this. It may have been out loud with great conviction, or a quietly whispered thought in your mind where you asked for help when you thought there would be no way it could come. I'm here for you because at some point you asked for a light in a storm you thought you had no control of. So welcome. Don't forget to like and comment to join the pack, and let's dive right in. Marinda, I'm your Luna, Lish, and after 2 years of fighting all of the self-deprivating thoughts I've had, I am finally starting all that I've been called to do. This has been an experience started from birth, but I didn't realize the journey I needed to go on until 2020, when I was pregnant with my second child and found out that we were having a girl. The thought of having a daughter ignited something inside of me. Fear. Fear of always being the person I currently was. Fear of repeating the decisions I saw all the women in my family make. Fear that I would let my daughter grow up in the same thoughts, beliefs, and limits that I did. And I completely snapped. I snapped out of the idea that I couldn't control my life. I snapped out of the notion that I had to fall into a particular line in the paradigm of capitalism. Suddenly, I was operating on a whole new level. And 5 years later, here we are, healed, motivated, and empowered. At this point, I swear I've lived a million different lives, but my hope for this podcast is that you won't have to. We are skipping all the fluff, and I'm going to walk you through everything that I did to heal. Not just my wounds, but the shadows that have haunted generations of my family. I will give you actionable steps to guide you through the maze of your own learned thought patterns, and so much more, because I'm going to do this with you. We all deserve a life we created on our own terms, and my job is to help you navigate through that journey. Are you ready? In this first season of Ready to Reign, we are going to dive in headfirst into what you need to build and focus on for the foundation of a purpose-led life. In today's episode, we're looking into step 1, which is going to be something you hear about all the time, but what I found is that if you stop trying to make it some picture-perfect mind map on paper, you'll actually ascertain the goals you've imagined for your life. It's called a life audit. And yeah, I catch my eyes rolling every time I hear the term too, so you're not alone. Just bear with me. If you stop trying to make your life audit something visually pleasing, as if someone else is going to see it, and actually make it just about what it is, let it be a little messy as you navigate the changes you'd like to make in your life, and move as if no one else will ever see it, then it actually works. And depending on the source, there are anywhere between 6 to 17 areas that you could break your life up into, but I'm going to break it down into 12. So as you're doing this life audit, think about physical goals, emotional goals, mental growth, spiritual growth, your career or work, financial, relationships, environment, life purpose, fun and hobbies, time, socials, and self-improvement. You can even use a life wheel if you want. No judgment here. Just know that you don't need it. In fact, when I was doing this, I just grabbed a regular notebook, turned to a blank page, and started taking notes of the things in my life that caused me anxiety, or blatantly made me unhappy, or made notes of situations where I didn't act the way I preferred. The point is, use what is going to be the easiest and most simple for you. Because the more you try to complicate it, the less likely it is to work and the more frustrated you're going to be. While you are perusing through your current life, the questions you ask yourself are actually pretty vital because in this point in time, you're figuring out what you want. And sometimes the question, what do you want, is the hardest question you will ever ask yourself when you actually sit down and try to think of it. For me, I had to put a pin in that question because all I knew was I wanted to paint. That's it. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else about what I wanted. Lo and behold, the answer to that question was far deeper than one sentence, but it started with the dream of being able to make my own schedule and paint while my kids were at school. I will tell you that my entire life, there is nothing more sacred to me than getting time to get lost in a painting. And I knew, beyond all else, that's the bottom line. But I also knew that it wasn't that simple. There were so many other things attached to that dream that I hadn't even realized yet until I started working on myself and working towards physically doing the things I enjoyed doing. So, as you're looking into your life, ask yourself really deep questions. And when you answer yourself, use paragraphs, not statements. Really get in there and be honest with yourself. Some of the things that you think you want on the surface might actually be things you were expected to want and don't actually care about. So, what do you want? How do you want to feel during your mornings, during the day, in the evenings as you wind down? How do you want others to feel when you're around? The point is to feel whole and live in your purpose. So that involves serving others in some shape or form. Therefore, what feelings and reactions do you want people you have an impact on to have? Do you already know what gifts you have? How are you using those gifts to impact the world? Everything is an ecosystem. You don't have to be in the Serengeti and be a lion or a zebra or a giraffe or a whale in the ocean. You being alive and being a person on this earth means you are a part of an ecosystem. And you impact the world for better or worse, whether you make a decision or don't make a decision. So, how are you impacting the world? If you have no idea, that's okay. We will get you there. But it's good to know if you already recognize your gifts and talents. They're there for a reason. Where are you stuck? I always thought I had an issue with being organized or disciplined. But, come to find out, my issue was actually with support. I'm extremely organized when I want to be, and I have always been stubborn. So, if I want to accomplish something, trust me, I will do it. I'm just not always sure about when I will get it done. So, support was something I needed to work on, not organization and discipline. What do you need to let go of? This was the single biggest challenge for me because I can hold a grudge like no other. Lisha never forgets. But I was holding on to so many things that weren't serving me, and it was causing me to work in circles. It wasn't until I faced my own insecurities, fears, and deepest shadows hidden in the crevices of my mind that I could finally breathe and feel what actual joy is. Not happy. I felt happy. This was blissful joy in every cell of my body, and it was one of the most amazing things I've ever experienced. What life-giving habit or activities do you want to add into your life? Listen, if you keep thinking about it but put it off, then you want to do it. So stop saving things for later and do the fun things now. I've always wanted to be able to speak another language, and I always put it off, but I also always thought about it. Last year, I kind of dabbled in it, but there are a few languages that I want to learn, so right now, I'm actually figuring out where I want to start, and I'm going to put it into my weekly routine. No more waiting until I think I have the time. I'm making the time, and that's the key to doing what you actually want to do. Is making the time. Who are you spending your time with? Are they growth-minded people or are they toxic? Are they both? Something I decided to do early on in my journey was cut out anything and everyone and start over. It was very extreme, and you don't actually need to do that, but I spent a lot of time away from nearly everyone and then started letting people back in slowly, so I had a very clear picture on how each person made me feel. I started noticing really fast when people were hateful, even underlying hateful, closed-minded, and didn't have the same values. I looked at people that weren't serving me, decided to love them where they were, but didn't carry their actions with me anymore. I let them be. True transparency, I've barely talked to anyone I'm related to in the last 3 years. But after Moose was born, I disappeared from everyone. I learned who I was and what values I had without outside influence. And I would do it that way again if I ever felt called to do so. But you don't need to be quite so dramatic to figure it out. But I had a lot to work through, and that was the easiest way for me. Do you need help? Do you have addiction issues? Do you need a therapist? Which, by the way, I recommend for everyone at any time, regardless of how great you're doing, but especially if you suffer from any kind of mental or physical trauma, I highly recommend it. I was put in between my parents' divorce my senior year of high school, during and after graduation, and there were quite a few things that I needed help getting through. And I don't know how I would be now if I hadn't let myself be vulnerable to someone at that time. And my favorite question is one I recently learned to ask people that gravitate towards me. Are you ready for change? This is a big one because change is hard. And no one tells you that there is a price to awakening. You will feel the pain. And there are instances where it's brutal. You have to look down deep into yourself and not shy away from the things you push to the back of your mind. You will be criticized, alienated, and even told you're crazy at sometimes. You will lose friends, sometimes even family. I did. People will literally hate you for no reason because they are living at a lower vibrational frequency than you. And the higher you go, the harder it will be to comprehend you. And people will lash out at what they don't understand. You will fight monsters, fear, ego, and ignorance. You will suddenly feel like you don't fit in this world and at times feel immense loneliness. True awakening is not some aesthetic 40-minute YouTube video. It's a hard punch to the gut as you free fall off a waterfall. It's the intentional destruction of everything you are now so that you can feel what real life can really be. Once you know what you want, why you want it, what doesn't fit in your life right now, and what makes you feel good, it's time to figure out the vision you have for your life. I like to meditate for a short time before this, and then I do a brain dump of things I actually want to see in my life. It can be experiences, monetary goals, physical items, etc. Whatever it is that comes to mind. Don't limit yourself on just putting things you want though, okay? You can ask yourself, what areas in my life feel heavy, draining, or misaligned? What habits or routines no longer support the person I want to be? Who or what do I find myself saying yes to when my heart is saying no? Why do I feel the need to say yes? And why do I feel the need to say yes? What thoughts or beliefs keep me stuck in old versions of myself? What am I holding on to out of comfort, fear, or familiarity rather than love or purpose? What would my life look and feel like if I gently release these things? What am I unsatisfied with and why? What is missing from my life? What direction do I want to be going in? What is keeping me from this? What can I change today to make me feel more organized and on track? Is my space too cluttered? What can I purge? What goals could I set for the week ahead to make me feel better or more in control? What have I been avoiding and why? How can I start facing this? Then, after having a much clearer image of the person you want to move to be, This is where you would write out like your dream life, a day in the life, however you want to word it. You would write like the most ideal day of your future self. The more detailed, the better. Take the list from your brain dump and actually write out what you really want your life to be like. Treat it like okay, if you're listening to my podcast, then you have to know who Mel Robbins is. I love her, and you should just treat it like she's interviewing you. I do this on occasion. I've even actually had a couple of dreams where she's interviewing me. Maybe that's foreshadowing. I don't know. We'll see. But if you treat it like she's interviewing you and you're super specific about the details that you write in your day in the life, it could take you a few days or even a week to finish, but so be it. Rome wasn't built in a day, and your new, happier, fulfilled version of yourself won't be built in a day either. Some bonus questions to help you guide you through your thought journey can be things like, if there were no limits, what would your dream life look like and feel like day to day? How would you spend your mornings, afternoons, and evenings in this dream version of your life? And keep in mind that not everything has to be different from your life now. There could be some small changes you want to make, or you could want to move to a new city and become a completely different person. It's completely specific to just you. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's what you want. So focus on what you desire and how you want to spend your time. And once you have a clearer image of what you actually want, it actually will start coming to you. But we'll get more into that later. You can also ask, who am I surrounded by in this version, and how do they make me feel? What emotions do I want to experience most often in my dream life? And go beyond just happiness. I mean, we all want to be happy. What else do you want to feel? Do you want to feel excited? Do you want to feel adventurous? Do you want to feel powerful? Think outside the box. Don't just put happy. What values guide the choices your dream self makes every day? What does financial freedom look like for you, and how would it change your lifestyle? What habits and rituals do my dream self stick to with ease? This is not the aesthetic YouTube girly sideshow, okay? Be realistic. Does it make more sense for you to take vitamins in the morning? Cool. Add that to your morning routine. Do you want to start working out? What time of day do you want to start working out? What time of day makes the most sense to squeeze in even just 15 minutes? And what parts of your current reality already align with your dream life and deserve gratitude? Side note, if you are really struggling to figure out what you want in life or writing an ideal day, look for people online whose lives give you peace, joy, or even jealousy. A lot of times, funny enough, people will feel jealous of someone else and immediately have all these negative reactions. But if you feel jealous or envy, that is your body screaming at you that you want that too. And you can get it. That's the beautiful part. Most of the time, you just have to recognize that you want that specific thing. So anytime you feel jealous, take a mental note of it, write in your notes app. If following that person or watching that person just continually gives you grief and you just can't get rid of the angst, then by all means unfollow them. But still write down why it is you unfollow them. What is it about them that makes you feel so negatively? Because either you want that thing or that person goes completely against a value you have and you just might not recognize that value. Okay, so I know it's a lot, but sometimes the hardest part is not lying to yourself anymore and letting yourself want what you actually want instead of what you grew up being told you want. Or sometimes figuring out what you actually want doesn't come until you see someone else living that experience, or having that thing, or living in that place. It's a lot of upfront work, but just bear with me. And if you need to take a break and come back to this later. Just focus on doing one step at a time. And I promise no one will be upset with you. The rubber band stretch is rough, but you'll get used to it. Next piece to your life building puzzle is planning your new era. I like to make a list of what I wrote down in my dream day, ideal day, whatever you want to label it as. But I like to make a list of what's in my ideal day that isn't currently showing up in my present life. And then I clean it up and restart my life. Contrary to what you might have been told growing up, you actually don't need anyone else's permission to change or revamp yourself as many times as you need to in order to be happy. So, clean up your environment. Start small and do a refresh every 3 months. I always like to have a donation box behind my front door or at the top of my stairs so that when I realize I don't want something anymore, I don't question it. I just toss it in there. And then once the box is full, I have my teenager put it in the back of the car and drop it off at Goodwill or Salvation Army or wherever on his way home from school. And then refresh yourself. Drinking water daily based on your weight to stay hydrated. Staying up on your vitamins. Getting enough sleep. Eating more whole foods. Having self-care routines that go beyond the viral YouTube lists. It's really important, and I think it's very understated right now, to be healthy. But I'm not sure about other countries, but in America, we're set up as a money machine. These hospitals and, pharmaceutical companies and stuff don't make money if you're healthy. They make money if you're sick. They don't want you to die. They just want you to be miserable while you're living so that they can make money off of you. I heard some statistic on an ad, and it was some crazy percent of people could, prevent being diabetic early on by having like a certain body scan, but doctors are trying to monopolize it so that you have to go to the doctor and pay like a couple $100s to have this body scan. Well, nobody wants to do that, but then you end up paying like $16,000 a year being a diabetic and having to continually go to the doctor, or maybe even more if you're really bad off. So it's really vital for you to really put your health needs as a priority in your life, because I don't want you to just be alive. I want you to thrive. So stop giving in to all of this mumbo jumbo and about the health system and everything, and be healthy. Find better ways to live your life that are more sustainable and better for your body. Next, reset your mind. Journal your thoughts. Write down what's stressing you and what excites you. Have daily affirmations or listen to frequency videos. Unfollow what's not serving you. Remember, you are what you spend your time doing. So read, consume, and listen to the things that move you into the person you want to be. Upgrade your habits. Have a reasonable wake up and bedtime. Move your body, even if just for 20 minutes a day. Have routines that you can stick to. Don't copy people on social media. That's for show. Entertainment. Track what you do each day and audit it when you feel like something isn't working or you are out of alignment. I'm totally guilty of watching people just live their life on TV. I am a very avid YouTube consumer. I watch YouTube or listen to YouTube pretty much all day long. You saw the many hours on my phone, you'd be like, oh dear God, how do you get anything done? I always have something playing on in the background, even while I'm working. It kind of helps me think. And I'm obsessed with learning. But I don't take everything I see to heart. I always do my own research, and I really highly recommend you do that too. Which brings us into rebuilding your confidence. Dress in clothes that make you feel good and match the lifestyle you choose to have. Update your haircut, hair routine, wardrobe, and products you use. Surround yourself with people that challenge and support you. And the most important thing, pay attention to how you talk to yourself. Make a life vision. Go back to your dream life script. What goals can you work on now to build a foundation that moves you toward the life that you want to have? Break them down into reasonable steps. Don't aim for perfection. Everyone starts somewhere. It's a 1% every day kind of momentum that's going to get you to where you want to go. Let go and move forward. Release what no longer serves you. People, habits, doubts, all of it. There is no room for it in your peace. Stop overthinking. You are learning, friend, and mistakes are lessons. Celebrate everything big or small and forgive yourself when you mess up or your past habits creep up. Acknowledge the mishap and then correct the behavior and move on. Don't dwell on it. Okay, so some last minute tips, reminders, and little tidbits before I give you back the rest of your day. The universe will test you. I really hate the word test, but these are basically the universe presenting the same things over and over to see if you've learned your lesson or if the future you're trying to bring in is actually what you want. The closer you get to overcoming it, the more it will poke at you until you are just like, aw, you're cute. I'm not falling for that shit again. And you just kind of dismiss whatever keeps replaying. Remember to check your emotions. You do not need to burn your entire world down in order to live the way you have always dreamt of. Even though I semi kind of did that. But you don't have to remember, you don't have to be as dramatic about it as me. It's more about taking note of what doesn't work and making small changes that support the life you're building. And if you are the only one that can see the vision right now, then so be it. You have that dream for a reason, so work towards it. And other things will either fall out of your way or they will shift and fall into alignment. Remember that not everything deserves your energy. And this can be a tough one to get the hang of, but practice makes perfect. And catching yourself when you give your energy away when you shouldn't have, it's just repetition, and you'll soon learn how to decipher this on your own without even thinking about it. It'll seem like second nature. If you don't want to do something, then don't do it. It actually can be that simple. The emotion from others that follows your no is what can be uncomfortable. But when I had my daughter and started my own journey, I finally said I am done being uncomfortable for other people. Life will always be life, and a lot of times it has the worst timing. But every emotion has a question and an answer. So just breathe. Meditate if you need to, and remember that anger is telling you something needs to change. Jealousy shows you something you want that you think is unattainable. Let it inspire you. Guilt is showing you that you did something that doesn't match your values. Fear is actually my favorite because that's where you find your greatest strength. So look closer. Shame is just telling you that there is a part of you that needs love and acceptance. So find a person you can share with and open up to. And then frustration, my arch nemesis, is the honing beacon for feeling stuck. It just means that the way you are going about whatever you're doing isn't working and you need a break and to try a new way. A little tip: making an adult binder filled with identity and life essentials, medical and wellness information, financial and legal information, and home and admin documents will help you stay organized and will alleviate stress and anxiety when emergencies hit, because everything is already prepared for when shit hits the fan. Prepare for what you can prior to it happening. Make sure you are clear about what you're working on. Don't say, I want to make more money and expect it to happen. Life has to catch you working. Look for a purpose. Everyone has one. And the second you start moving in that direction, life will suddenly feel much lighter. Things will happen faster and easier. Your overall goal might shift in ways you never could have dreamt of, but the basis for it will still be there. Try building a schedule. That way you don't have idle time. Just like having a purpose for every dollar you earn is super helpful when saving money or paying off debt, having a schedule means you aren't wasting time trying to figure out what the hell you were doing in the first place. If you're new to actually purposely creating a schedule, then you can try time blocking. That's a popular one. I myself do this. But there's 2 other methods that you can also try to make life feel more in a flow state. And those would be the 7-pocket time method, which is where you separate your day into me time, morning startup, priority block, lunch, second biggest task, afternoon shutdown, and second me time. Or you can even try the 888 method, which is where you basically divide your day into 3 sections: 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of life. Or you can even try a combination of these or anything else that you find. Just have a point to the hours in your day. The biggest advice I can give you is to buckle up and let every situation be what it is, not what you think it should be. Especially as mothers, we tend to build up this Pinterest-worthy event in our head and set ourselves up for a lot of disappointment, and then get upset at ourselves and everyone around us when it doesn't pan out the way we imagined. But real life is not perfect. Kids who are healthy, happy, and thriving will test your patience, ruin your super planned out activities, and get over emotional. And you never know when it's going to happen. But speaking from personal experience, the second I changed the script in my head, the second I started letting myself enjoy my life and being grateful that my kids just wanted their mom for comfort, guidance, and understanding, was the moment it all got better. I stopped doing things that were for the kids that were put together the way I wanted, and now they aren't ruining what I had planned. They are enjoying the experiences I created for them, and I'm enjoying them enjoying the experiences. Well, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast today. If you are like me and more of a visual person, you can find even more guidance and help by going to my website, hexandtides.com, or clicking the link in the show notes. There, you will find downloadable freebies for each of these episodes. I don't take lightly that you spent your valuable time with me, and I appreciate your soul so very much. I am so proud of you. Until next week, may the gods bless you and your purpose. I love your faces. Bye.